An estimated net worth of 305 million, countless sponsors from high-profile companies like SteelSeries, Scuff, and G Fuel, successful esports teams for extremely popular titles like CSGO, Valorant, PUBG, and Rainbow. Not bad in the span of 11 years. But of course, this didn't come without its problems. From signs of internal conflict and crypto scams, FaZe has been through its fair share of controversy. The game that started FaZe's legacy was none other than Modern Warfare 2, arguably one of the best Call of Duties and I'd say one of the most influential games of the last decade. A major part of the reason of why that was the case was because of one particular weapon archetype. You can break down primary weapons into ARs, SMGs, LMGs, shotguns, and snipers. They all accommodated for different playstyles. ARs were for consistent damage at mid to long range, shotguns and SMGs were for those who wanted to rush, snipers for those who wanted to stay far away, and LMGs for those who grew up without a father. The weapon archetype that kickstarted FaZe's career was none other than the sniper rifle, and this was because of a concept called trickshotting. Modern Warfare 2 was the very first game to add a round-winning kill system, where the last kill was displayed in front of the whole lobby. Naturally, people began to record their impressive kill cams and post them on YouTube. Trickshotting is essentially when you perform otherwise impractical actions such as spinning, tomahawking, meleeing off of a usually elevated area before killing someone with a stylish sniper shot. Hitting one as the last kill makes you feel like a god, and getting hit by one feels like you've brought shame upon your entire bloodline. The people at the forefront of trickshotting montages on YouTube were none other than FaZe with their Illcam series. Their popularity only seemed to skyrocket with the release of each new COD. While FaZe continued to grind on YouTube and amass a large following interested in their trickshotting content, there was another group of COD players beginning to make a name for themselves in the esports scene. And that team would be known as Optic. 2011 is where they had their first break into the competitive scene involving money. Optic was making a decent amount through earnings in 2011, but Call of Duty XP hosted in California was where they made their first substantial amount of money, first place netting them 400k. As expected, this solidified their position as one of the better esports teams at the time, as they were going up against some of the best, which led to the popularity of Optic increasing. People wanted to see a matchup of the team that was performing well on the esports side of things and the clan notorious for the YouTube side of things. With the release of Black Ops 2, FaZe set their scopes on the esports scene. Who the fuck writes these scripts? FaZe formed a roster of Crowder, Huddle, Slacked, and Spacely, but the only tournament they were able to earn money in was during the MLG COD Invitational. In arguably FaZe's best tournament year, they met Optic at UMG Dallas 2015 in the Grand Finals and ended up getting the best over them, further fanning the flames of the rivalry. They met again later that year at Gfinity Summer Championship and FaZe won out again. At the time, they were considered two of the best esports teams COD had seen. FaZe hasn't been able to dominate like that since, but they did go on to expand into the CSGO esports scene by acquiring the G2 roster for 700k. After the acquisition of the CS team, they started branching out into all types of different games. PUBG in November 2017, FIFA in January 2018, Paint Simulator in June 2016, but it was disbanded after 1 year, Crouch Sim in January 2018, and PUBG 2 in March 2018. You do have to keep in mind that none of the people representing FaZe at tournaments are the original members, and this does raise the question of where are the members that played COD right now. Banks, Rug, Rain, Apex, Adapt, Blaziken, Dirty, Sprat, Testy, Pomage, Jev. Of the 11 names I just listed, all of them came up from playing COD, and at the time of writing, 6 of the 5 no longer post any COD related content, rather opting for more lifestyle type videos, and the rest pretty much exclusively upload COD, whether it be Warzone or Cold War. I can think of 2 reasons for this happening. COD is a franchise that many agree only continues to go downhill over time. A lot of people will say that the last good COD game was either one of the Modern Warfares or Black Ops 2. It's pretty much become the 2K of FPS games, so it makes sense that people get bored of playing and making the same content for the same stuff each year. And the other reason could be because of the monetization side of things. Compared to something like vlogging, which a lot of members are doing, Call of Duty content may not be as profitable. If you look at the members that upload COD and compare them to other members, you can understand what I mean by this. The only exception here is Jev, who still pulls crazy views with his extremely entertaining commentary. It's probably a combination of both, but leaning more towards the side of getting bored after playing the game for pretty much a decade. People were quick to notice the change in content from COD to lifestyle videos, and it was clear that people were pretty unhappy about it. And then there was CSGO. Valve introduced skins into the game, and the only logical thing people decided to do with them was to gamble. Before doing my research, I thought that Team Martin and Syndicate were the two biggest names that were involved in the gambling scams. But to my surprise, Banks himself owned a gambling site under the name of CSGO Wild. People were suspicious for a while, and there was even a tweet longer making it clear that FaZe had no ownership in CSGO Wild, but after a few years, Banks just straight up said it himself in a podcast, which kinda makes me question his intelligence. The reason for it was to buy their first CSGO roster. They made their website and got other members to promote it. Banks claimed that the website was making them around $200,000 a day. After doing some more digging, it seems like Banks actually has quite a history. Cheating on his girl, lying about getting assaulted in a restaurant, which led fans to leave negative reviews and death threats, to straight up lying about parts of a court case.
To have all this dropped on my head without a warning, dude, it says right here that you were served notice as FaZe Clan on September 26th of 2018.
Say, this is fucked, this is not right, this is not cool, this is fucking bullshit.
The fucking bullshit that Tfue is referring to is about his contract that he had with FaZe. In May 2019, Tfue sued them for limiting his ability to pursue his career. He claimed that he only kept 20% of revenue from branded videos that were published on Twitch or YouTube, alongside half of his revenue from touring and appearances. Banks responded on Twitter claiming that Tfue was lying. He said that they had only collected 60k from partnerships while Tfue was making millions. Tfue then made a video explaining how he felt about the contract and asked FaZe to release it to the public to prove that he wasn't lying. The next day, the contract gets leaked and it's revealed that in total, Tfue is taking 50% home, which isn't exactly what was said. The whole situation got resolved in the end, but it does surprise me that someone that's supposed to be the main face of FaZe was seemingly fine with lying about a lawsuit despite the potential consequences. While FaZe members do have histories of doing fairly shady stuff, the Save the Kids crypto scam is by far the scummiest thing that they have done. Pump and dump scams promoted by influential people are nothing new. There are countless instances of these happening, but it's pretty obvious that they are pump and dumps. Save the Kids was a pump and dump at its core, but was promoted to be a charity coin, where 3% of the transaction from where a token is traded goes to a charity project to help our children. Quite a few big names were promoting this coin: Rice Gum, FaZe K, FaZe Jarvis, FaZe Tico, and FaZe Nikan. CoffeeZilla was able to find the wallets of some of the FaZe members and was able to see their selling history. Each FaZe member handled their coins in a different way. For example, Jarvis sold 2/3 of his wallet over the course of a few days, Nikan sold 1/3 instantly and held the rest, Tico interestingly enough held all of his tokens, and K clearly did not give a shit because within the span of one day he sold everything. After CoffeeZilla dropped his video, FaZe realized that they were in deep shit and had to do something to protect their image. The next day, FaZe released this statement on Twitter. They beaned K, suspended Jarvis, Nikan, and Tico. They said that they had no involvement in their activities with cryptos and condemned their behaviour. Banks stepped forward 7 days later claiming that he had zero involvement or knowledge in the scam, and in another tweet he wishes that they came to him about it so he could have shut it down. The ironic thing about this is that he himself was also involved in a pump and dump scheme. He claimed to have fucked with the project heavily and thought it would be the next one to pop. He did say it's not financial advice, but at the same time you do have to be aware of the age group of your audience and how easily influenced they are. People probably ignored the bottom part because of the praise he was giving it and pumped the coin anyways. The saddest part about this to me is that there are people that still blindly follow and apologize to FaZe members no matter what they do, even going as far as to insult other people that speak against FaZe. The esports side of FaZe seems fairly unproblematic, but the content creator and owner side of things is where the issue lies. When the owners and faces of FaZe begin tweaking, it's not a good look for the organization as a whole. But at the end of the day, it is their company and you can't say what they've made isn't inspirational in the slightest. In terms of what happened to the clan as a whole, you can attribute it to greed and money. Time clearly had an influence, but I think that money was the main thing that turned a group of kids having fun trickshotting into some fairly obnoxious people. As always, take all of my opinions with a grain of salt because I'm a random nigga with a mic and an internet connection. A like or subscription would be much appreciated, and with that, make sure to enjoy the rest of your day or night.